So last week we talked about the philosophical changes that the Bills are undergoing, and they made a key addition here over the last couple of days, and that was signing wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Now, I know this might be an unpopular opinion and say, well, how is this such the perfect addition? This guy just constantly drops balls. He's not that good. He's nothing more than a wide receiver four. And while you might have some truth to some of those statements, I think he fits into this offense perfectly based on what I described last week. And that was how I think that the Bills, specifically Joe Brady, is trying to run this offense. So you look at the wide receiver room, and I talked about this last week how first the Bills signed Matt Collins, then they drafted Keon Coleman, then they brought in Chase Claypool. They still have Justin Shorter. Now, all these guys are 6'4, 220 pounds plus. And you're looking at that, and that was a tell to me that they are trying to get those big bodied wide receivers who can not only be red zone targets and go up and make the tough contested catch, but they can also help pave the way for the running game. Because I think that Joe Brady wants to use the running game to set up the passing game. So you look at the running back room, and the Bills have their feature back in James Cook. They drafted Ray Davis to be his complement. They brought back Ty Johnson. They do have Darrington Evans for what that's worth, and they signed Frank Gore Jr. as a UDFA. So I think that Brady wants to continue what he did last year and say, I want to be a well balanced offense and not necessarily be a run heavy team because you still have Josh Allen as your quarterback and you want to use his arm to your advantage. But you want to be smart about how you do that because teams know that Josh Allen has a rocket for an arm. So they're trying to build up the running game. They built up the offensive line. They double dipped at tackle. They triple dipped if you talk about their additions in the draft in general on the offensive line. Not to mention they signed La'el Collins and Will Clapp. They're going to be running 12 personnel again. They brought back Quentin Morris. So all signs point to Joe Brady doing what he did towards the end of the season last year, and now he has the pieces to run the offense. I should also mention that they did bring in Curtis Samuel and KJ Hamler. They still have Khalil Shakir, and those guys are going to be those space creators. They can work underneath. They are speedy. They are shifty. They have that separation to get yards after the catch. But the one piece that they were missing was that vertical deep threat. Because if the Bills do what I think that they're going to do, that means that the defense is going to naturally have to respect that running game. And they're going to have to pay attention to those weapons on the boundary, like Samuel, Shakir, KJ Hamler, Andy Isabella, if he's in. So when I say that you want to use Josh Allen's arm to your advantage and be smart about it, this is exactly what I mean. Because you get the defense to come in and pay attention and hone in on James Cook and Ray Davis and, fill in the blank. And that is when you can take the top off with the guy like MVS now. That is when you can go up the seam to Dalton Kincaid. That is when you can go down the boundary to Keon Coleman and make those separation issues look better. So that's why I think Marquez Valdes-Scantling is going to be a perfect addition to this Bills offense because he was that one missing piece. This is not the Stephon Diggs replacement here. And we're sitting here saying, oh, the Bills have their new wide receiver one. Let's go. No, I mean, I don't see MVS as more than a wide receiver four, but he fulfills a role. And that is being that decoy down the field for Josh Allen to hit those bombs and to really carve up the defense once they are respecting that running game. And if I could just sum up my thoughts here, I tweeted this the other day, so I might as well show it here. So this is how I see the Bills offense. They're going to be well balanced. There's no clear wide receiver one. They're going to use multiple players to their strengths. They have wide receivers who can get yards after the catch. They also have big bodied wide receivers who can block and help pave the way for the running game. And again, they're going to use that running game to open/set up the passing game. And I think that could be a very, very good recipe for success because I think in previous seasons, you had someone like Ken Dorsey who just wanted to take the top off consistently with Josh Allen's arm, but the defense knew it was coming, so they could just sit back and wait for it. Now you're going to have this well-balanced approach with Joe Brady, and albeit, you don't have that top five receiver anymore with Stephon Diggs being in Houston, but you're going to have a wide receiver by committee approach, and I think this could sneakily work in their favor.